Guys, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to have Paul Maskill. Hey, Paul, how's it going, buddy?
Doing well, Big A. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, man. Tell the guys a little bit more about yourself personally and professionally.
Yeah, so personally, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I've been here about 9 years, almost 9 years now. Moved here in 2010. Been married for about 6.5 years. My wife, Angela, and we got a 2.5-year-old daughter who's keeping us busy. So originally from Michigan, and got sick of the cold weather and got sick of the snow and moved down south.
Now, how did you pick Raleigh?
Great question. So originally I had a finance degree, lived in Michigan, got a finance degree from University of Michigan, moved to Chicago, was going to climb the corporate ladder, got sick of it, got burned out. Angela was living in Florida when we were dating. She got a job up here at Duke, and we were dating long distance, and we wanted to live in the same place. She wasn't going to move north. I was kind of sick of the north, and I quit my job and came down here.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. Now, were you always in Michigan prior to moving to Raleigh?
Yeah,
I know you went to Chicago, but I mean, saying this.
Yeah, so I was born in Michigan.
Majority. Okay.
Yep, lived there until I graduated college, and then moved out.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit more professionally, kind of what your normal day look like, what you do. Tell the guys a little bit more about what a normal day looks like for you.
Yeah. So professionally, I help small business owners put systems and processes in place so that their business can survive and thrive without them. So before what I'm doing now, I used to own my own small business, grew it up, put the systems, process, people in place, and sold it. And a lot of people said, hey, how did you do that? So I help people do that, stop working in their business and start working on their business. And then I also I own a local dog walking business here in Raleigh. I bought that about a little over a year ago.
That's interesting. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So my previous business, we ran after school programs for elementary kids and summer camps. And the model was basically you hire a lot of part-time people who have a passion for this thing,
right,
and they go out and deliver the service. And when I get emails from biz, buy, sell every day, and this one had come across, and it was a similar business model. We send people out who love animals to go take care of other people's animals when they can't. So I had just come off of owning my other business and was doing some consulting and was looking to get back into business ownership. So I got into that, and it was a really good opportunity to put technology in place, put systems and processes in place, and then people to deliver the service. A lot of people in the dog walking space that own businesses, they're just kind of a one-man band. And that's where I really saw the opportunity to deliver better service than the one-man or one-woman bands.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, do you intend on keeping that business? Is that something you're going to scale, or is this something you just want to keep kind of as a small side line to what you do? What are your plans for that business?
Yeah, so I definitely want to scale it up. And then once I get to that point, either sell it or have probably somebody that's already on the staff, run it for me and just be more or less a passive income stream where I don't have to spend too much time on it. So it really depends on where the market is when we get to that point. That's kind of how, when I sold my previous business, I met with a broker and they said, hey, you can get this amount for it at the high end. I said, if I get it, great, I'll sell it. If not, I'll just keep growing it. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Good for you, man. When we get to Nashville, when you get to Nashville, I'm already in Nashville. When you get here, I want to know more about that at the live event. So that's good. Very interesting. Well, listen, what is today what you would consider your number one hurdle in any business or personal? What is the thorn in your side today that you're having trouble with that the guys maybe could give some feedback to?
Yeah, so it was probably the number one reason I joined ISI after knowing about it for quite some time. And it's just having that clarity and focus of doing one thing, especially after selling a business. It's like, what am I going to do next? And there's a lot of different options, and it's kind of that bright, shiny object squirrel syndrome. So really keeping me focused on my one thing and what I really should be doing. So that's really always a thorn in my side to keep me on track.
Now, do you have a difficulty, like you have a new thought, or is just new things that are presented to you and staying focused? You know, Gary Keller talks about the one thing, and I know you've read that book, but like, what is the difficulty for you? So many opportunities out there, you don't know which one to pick from.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. So I know I can do, and I have the personality of reading the book we're right now, a number 8 Challenger. So I know when anybody tells me I can't do it, or I see an opportunity that I know I can do better, it's hard to say no. So being able to say no to a lot of things in order to stay focused on what I should be doing, that one thing.
You and I share that. I'm a strong number 8. I'm a challenger as well. And so I get your pain. You know, Dan Miller taught me something a long time ago that's really been beneficial to me, and that's to write out my plan. And I schedule way in advance the things that I'm going to be doing. And if it doesn't get on this phone in my calendar, it doesn't get done. And Dan said that people will come to him and say, hey, this is a new opportunity. It's a new thing we're going to do. And he'll look at his calendar and he'll go, well, you know what? It's not on my calendar. God bless you. I hope it works out for you, but I won't be participating in it. And so it's difficult to get to that, but it's a lot easier when you write it down and you schedule the things that you're going to do. I just got off the phone a few minutes ago with Brian Moran. You know, he wrote the 12-week year, and he's going to be speaking to us in April. And we were talking about that very thing. And his 12-week year has really impacted me personally in staying hyper-focused on the task at hand. So maybe some guys that are watching this right now will have some other feedback. Maybe they can tell you some ideas that they do that will narrow that focus and keep you on that thing, because inch wide and a mile deep, right? That's what we need to be, right? And that's, have you read Greg McKeown's book, Essentialism? Have you read that?
I have not read that one yet.
All right, there's some homework. You need to go read that book.
Get cracking.
All right, I'm going to give you permission to not be humble. And we talk about the Achilles heel. We talk about kryptonite. We talk about blind spots. We talk about all those things. But what is your superpower? When you want people to think of your superpowers, what is it?
Yeah, so I would say probably going into something that is a mess, whether it's a business, someone's schedule, physical room, and then cleaning it up, systematizing it, and really breaking it down into digestible parts so that we can get to the solution, and breaking it down so it's really easy to get there. So seeing a big mess and being able to envision what it will look like when we're done with it, and making that happen, and not getting overwhelmed with what's at hand and taking that first step.
Now, when you have clients that you're working with, do you have a systematic approach? Do you say these are the things that we've got to do first? Do you evaluate the situation they're in and suggest a different alternative method? Or have you created or found something that works regardless of what industry that you're in?
Yeah, so I think I have the general framework. I like working with service-based businesses. So no matter what service you're selling, the framework of running the business operation is pretty much the same. So really working with them on where are you, where do you want to go, how are we going to get there, and then what's getting in the way. That's kind of the first process, and then building that foundation, and then putting together that game plan and creating the standard operating procedures and all the other things that go within getting their business to where it can thrive without them. So yeah, I try to keep it as systematic as possible, because that's the way my brain works, and there's a lot less room for error when there's a proven system that works.
Now, is it you, or do you have a team, or what does it look like?
Yeah, so right now it's just me. So I'm doing mainly one-on-one coaching right now.
Okay, good.
And, looking to explore into more of the group coaching online programs.
Yeah. One to many, right? That's what you want to get to. All right, last question. So we try to keep these in less than 10 minutes. Why would I want you as a friend? Like, what do you bring to the table that would lure me to be your friend?
Yeah, so I would say definitely empathetic. So really taking the time to understand where people are coming from. I think a lot of that comes from having a lot of employees and understand everyone comes from a different background, but then also pushing them and holding them accountable to do what they say they're going to do. And I don't really have time or room for people that make excuses, because there's always somebody out there that's going through something worse and they're still making it happen. So balancing that of being empathetic, but at the same time, not letting their excuses get in the way of where they want to go.
Paul, that's exciting. If the guys in ISI want to reach out to you, what's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, so really, since we're all in the Facebook group, if you just send me a Facebook message, find me there. It's probably the easiest. Or you can just send me an email. It's just paul@paulmaskill.com. Those would be the two easiest ways. Paul, thanks a lot, buddy. I look forward to seeing you April the 26th. We're going to have a great time, and I look forward to seeing you in person. Sounds good, Big A. Thanks for the opportunity. All right. See you, buddy. All right. See ya. Bye.